Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to start using Jupyter Notebook to run our Python analysis, to run our data analysis in Python. Jupyter Notebook is one of the IDE that you can use to run Python codes. So our training, we are focusing on Jupyter Notebook. So to start using Jupyter Notebook, after you have installed it using the Anaconda distribution, you can simply go to your search bar here. And it's starting now, it's coming up. You wait a bit for it to launch. So your Jupyter Notebook is now launched in the browser like this, using this URL, the local host. This is the URL that is open for. So this is the Jupyter Notebook environment. So to start creating a particular notebook, you come to new here. You click new and then click on Python 3 to start a notebook. So a notebook has been created, it has been opened for us. It is giving here untitled 1. That is, you have to give it a title. This one has not been titled yet. So to give a title to your notebook so that you can easily reference to it, you easily recognize what you are doing. So to change the title, there are two you can do. You come to file here. You click on file and rename. Then give it a new name. I click on rename and then give it a name. Or simply you just click on the title where it is written title, just click on it and then change the title. We can call this one data analysis using Python. Data analysis using Python. So you click rename and then you rename your Jupyter Notebook. So now, after you have renamed your Jupyter Notebook, you can start running your code. But before that, like this now, this is the background, the background color that we have. If you don't like this color, you can change it. You can come to setting. You click on settings here and come to theme and then change it. It is on Jupyter Lab Light. You can change it to dark mode. So if you click on this, it becomes dark. If you prefer this mode, you can work with this. If you want to go back to the default one that was there, you click back, come to settings and click on Jupyter Lab Light. So you have it like this. Now, where here, this is a cell. You type your code in the cells. So in this cell here, you can type your code. For example, you can say something like A is equals to 3, B is equals to 5, and then you can say C is equals to A plus B, or A times B, A times B. Then To see the value for C, you just simply call C. You just say C and it will give you a result. So to see the value of C, you now have to run your code. And to run the code, there are two ways of doing it. It's either you come here, look at run here, you now run it, or you simply hold the control key and press enter, then it will run for you. So to run this code that we have created here, you come on top here and click run. And it will ask you to run the selected cell, or you should run selected cell and insert a value below. So you can do any of them. So we run this. Oh, instead of it's case sensitive. So instead of lowercase b, I type uppercase B. So it gave us error. So if we run it again, it will now gives us the value of C as 20 because A is 4 and B is 5 and 4 times 5 is 20. So that is how you can run the code and it will take you automatically, it will take you to the new cell. If you are on this cell and you do not want to run it, you want to move to another cell, you simply hold the shift key and enter. Hold the shift key and press enter. Then it will take you to another cell. Or otherwise, you can, if you are here and you want to add another cell above, you come to this here, you come to this one here to insert a cell above. You just click on it and it will add another cell. If you want to add a cell below, you click on this one that is pointing downward. You put like that. So inside those cells, you type your code and it gives you input and run it to get your output. Like here now, this 2 in the square bracket is telling us that this is our input 2 because the first input gave us error. So this is the second one that gave us the correct result, and this is the output 2. So the next thing is what you should also know about Jupyter Notebook is that as you are typing your code, you can be also making note. Supposing you are teaching, you can be making code and be making lecture, use your teaching as a lecture note. So to do, one of the aspect is that here now by default each cell is open as a line for code. So that is why you see code here. But if you want to tell the Jupyter Notebook that this particular line you don't want it to be regarded as a code, you come and click on this arrow down and then change it to markdown. So if we change this per se to markdown, whatever you write, it will not give you error. It will not, that cell will not be considered as a code. So for example, now you can use it to type heading. You use the hash key to make comment. So now you can see here that you can give a title of your next action, that this is Python basic or basic syntax of Python. Basic syntax in Python. So if we hit enter now, this will it will be bold to give it as a heading. So you hold the shift key and enter. So this is your next heading now, basic syntax in Python, or Python basic syntax as you may want to call it. So we can make little notes here. We say that Python has a clean, straightforward syntax, making it one of the easiest programming languages to learn. Here we will delve into some key syntactical elements and provide examples to demonstrate Python's versatility and practical application. So you can, while you are writing your code, you'll be making notes using the markdown attribute. And inside the code, even when you are inside the code, you can make comment using the hash key so that when you use the hash key, it will now recognize whatever is written in front of the hash key that is a comment, not a code. So one of the basic syntax, the first one we'll be looking at is a variable and data types. We have variables and data types. We have already defined what a variable is in general terms. So in terms of Python programming, we want to look at the types of variables that we have and the data types that we have in Python. Before I continue, I want to change the setting to dark mode. I prefer using the dark mode. It gives you look at see your right of query. Yes, so I'm working with this mode. You can go with the one that you prefer. So we're looking at Python variables and data types. Let's change this to a full heading by changing this to Markdown. So if we enter here now, it gives us as a heading. So the first variable in Python is the strings variable. We have what is called the strings variables. We have the string variables. A string variable is a variable that are made up of different characters, like the name. If your name can be is a kind of a string variable, or email address, or residential address, and so on and so forth. So we use a double quote or single quotation to define a string variable. Example now we can define a string variable like this. Let me paste this. Can define that the name is Agnes. So Agnes here is a variable. The variable name here is a variable, and the value that is assigned to that variable is Agnes. You can change this to any other variable. You can say name is Raymond. Name is Raymond. You can you can add another variable that is a string variable. You can say age. The age, no, not age. Age is a different type of variable. We can say or this first one, let it be first name. We call it first name. First name is Raymond, and then we define another one, call it surname. And the surname we say is going to be equals to, remember I told you that you put it in double quote or single quote. And that is the difference between Python and other programming languages like SQL. In SQL, you specify the variable, but in Python, if you define it in the way that it should be defined, Python will now automatically detect it. So any variable that is defined inside quote, Python will now detect that it is a string variable. So we now define surname here and call it Oyiman. That is another string variable. So we can now define another type of variable now is called uh, we have what is called integer variables. Integer variables. So to define the integer variable, now we can say we are still defining variable about a particular person. We say his first name is Raymond, the surname is Oyima, and now another variable that we want to define about this entity is now what is called a string variable. Rather, it is called an integer variable. So we now say age. We now define a variable and call it age, and then we assign a value to it, call it 10. So when you assign a variable and assign when you define a variable and assign a whole number to it, automatically Python will understand that it is an integer variable. So the age of this person is 10 years. So maybe you can define it and say age in years, age in years, or we can put a hyphen. If we don't join it together like that, say age, you put hyphen in years. So age in years is 10. So whenever you call age in years, it will give you 10 as related to this particular entity that we have defined here. So another type of variable is called a float variable. Float. The float variable, let's put this with a comment. So float variable is a variable that contains a numeric number, a numeric value, but with decimal. A value that can be a decimal value. For example, now we can define that the height of this person we are considering, I hope I've defined height correctly. Height, GHT. The height is equals to, let's say, 173.5. So when you define something like this, automatically it is considered to be a float variable. We can also define another float variable, say monthly income. Monthly income. And say the monthly income is 185 85,600.86 naira. So this is another float variable. You can say the monthly income in naira, so that the value will be understood that you are talking about naira, or in dollars, as the case may be. So that is a that is a float variable. Another type of variable now, let's talk about it, is called the Boolean variable. Boolean variable. A Boolean variable is a variable that contains the value of either true or false. That is what we mean by a Boolean. A Boolean variable is either true or false. For example, now you can say that you may say, is this is he is he is it what can we say? You can say, is it a female? that this person we're talking about is she a female, and then you can say false. It's not a female. Is female, and you say no, it's not a female, it's false. If it is true, you say true. So all these are the type of variables that we have in Python. The first one is string variable. Is used to store characters like name, like email, like address. While the second one is the integer variable. Is used to represent values in to represent integer values, while the float variable is used to represent decimal values. And then the boolean variable is used to represent a variable that is a value that is either true or false. So if we run this here, if we run this, it will now work for us. It will now store those values in our server. So let's run it. That's return error for us. Let's check where the error is coming from. Okay, we did not define this variable correctly. We didn't use equals sign here. Instead of equals to, I put something else. Now it will run fine. Yes, this variable have those variables have been defined. So you can call any of them. For example, now if we go to the next, let's go to another cell now. Hold the shift key and enter to come to the next cell. So you can now say first name. Just type first name. Just type first name, and then run it, and it will give you the value Raymond. You can see. So if you can call any of these variables that you have defined. So when you define a variable, you can use it anywhere in your code. Anywhere you want to, when you refer to first name, it will return Oyema for you. And whenever you refer to age, it will return the value of 10. Well, as far as this particular line of code is concerned. So these are the type of variables we have in Python. Now suppose that the variables that we have defined, we did not specify which type of variable they are. We just define them. If you want to know, which one of them is a particular variable. For example, now you can say print. The word print is a term, is a result we use to call a particular variable. So you can now say print type, print type surname. You want to know the type of variable is surname. So if we type like this and then run it, it gives us error here because I didn't type the surname correctly as defined. I used M instead of N. So print type surname, let's run it again. And is telling us the class is a string. This str here means string. So it's telling us that this variable is a string variable. So if we do the same for any of them, it will give you let's do for let's do for let's change now from names from surname. Let's use another variable that we defined. Let's use height. If we run that, it's giving us that it's a float variable. So when you define a variable, automatically Python will detect the type of variable. You don't need to specify it, unlike in MySQL where you state that it is a variable character, it's a float, it's a this and that. Here you just define it using the correct method, and Python will know that this is the type of variable that we have defined. So it's one of the advantage of Python over other programming languages. So the next basic syntax in Python is arithmetic operators. Python supports all basic arithmetic operations and uses familiar symbols for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and many more. So you can do operations in Python, the normal mathematical operations that we have. For example, now you can define a variable and call it sum. Sum, think this is a result word. Let's use addition. Define a variable and call it addition or simply add, and say it is equals to a plus b, a plus b. Define another, you can simply call it. If you now say add, if you say add and then run, it will give you the value of a plus b. We have already defined a plus b at the beginning. You can see that it gives us a value of 9 because we define a to be 5, b to be 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. You can do another operation. You can do another operation, call it difference. You can call it difference and define it to be a minus b, and you run it. It has given us a value of minus 1. Okay, a was defined to be 4, b to be 5. So 4 minus 5 will give us minus 1. So you can run different kind of operations. You can also define another one, call it, let it be division. We can say that or define it and call it quotient. Quotient is equals to add divide by the difference. No, difference is negative. Yes, it will work. Divide by the difference. And then call quotient. You can see that the result is minus 9 because add, the value for add is 9. We defined a variable add and the value for it is 9. The value for difference is minus 1. So 9 divided by minus 1 to give you minus 9. So you can do different kind of arithmetic operations in Python. So the next thing is we want to look at strings operations. We already defined strings to be sequence of characters, and I define using single quote or double quotes. They support various operations like concatenation, slicing, and formatting. So we want to look at the examples to understand what we mean by concatenation slicing. Concatenation means joining two or more strings variables together. So let's look at how we can do that. All right, now we define some variables. We define string variables. Define the first one, call it greeting. And then the value attached to greeting is hello. And then we define another variable called name. And then we assign a value to that variable called eukarya. Then we define another variable called inquiry. And the values attached to the variable inquiry is how are you. Then now we can concatenate this to form a sentence. We now define another variable and call it message. As we say that message should be greeting plus. You put after putting the plus, now put two double quotes with a space here, so that if you are making a sentence, there should be space in between the words. If not, it will be joined together. So that is why we put this double quote and leave a single space. Then plus name, which is the name we have defined here, and then we put a comma into the code, so that when we say hello, we can now say hello eukarya, there will be a comma, and then the next thing will be how are you. So that is why we put a comma and then put plus, give another space, and then plus inquiry. So if we now say print message, or if we simply say message, it will now give you the value, it will now concatenate the whole thing into a single line. So let's run it and see. Error. That's they say name eukarya is what? Let me look at the error. They said invalid syntax. We have seen the error here. We did not include equals to here, so we have to put equals to there. So if we run that now, it will be fine. Still invalid again. Inquiry 2, there's no comma, there's no equality sign here. More errors. Okay. I'm saying more error here now. Instead of a double E here, put a here. So change this to so that it will be uniform. So let's run it now. Good. Now it's fine. So this is the result. Hello eukarya, how are you? Let's add a question mark. We could add a question mark here. Now we say plus. Then we put inside quote and put a question mark and then run. So now there's a question mark at the end of it because it's a question. Hello eukarya, how are you? Question mark. So that is how you can add many strings together to form. And this is a principle that is used in chatbots and all of this. When you enter a particular website, a chatbot will be chatting with you. These are the principles that can be used in creating of all those things. So you combine different strings to form a particular sentence. When you type a word, the chatbot will now respond to you as if it is a human being, but it's a programming. It's people, it's me and you, human being like me and you, that program it and then make it work as if it's a real time human. Another operation operation we can do with a string is slicing. To slice is to bring out a particular value, to not to call the whole of a string, but just a particular item. For example, now we can say that print message, the message that we define there, print message, and then we specify that it should come from the second, from the first to the fifth character. Here now, Python considered the first element to be at zero, at position zero. So when you put zero, you are talking about the first position in positioning. So if you print this message, it will bring you the first element or the first character in the variable hello, in the variable message. So let's run this and see. So now it has given us hello because the first five characters are from, the first one is at position zero, which is H. The second one is E, like that. So if we do this and we take it to up, let's say 12, can it be at 12? It will be at. Let's run this and see. Say hello, the way you carry I and E. If 14, it will not area. Good. So that is how you can do slicing. You slice a particular values in a variable, not bringing out the whole of the string variables. For example, now you can define a string to be the whole of, including the string, your variable. You can just say, you can define me and then my name, my first name, my surname, all of them on the same this thing as a single variable. So if you want to bring out only my name, you will now specify where my name starts and where it ends, and then you specify and bring it out. If you want to bring out my name and my email, bring out in that order. And these are the principles you can use. Also, like retrieving customer information and so on and so forth. Another type of element we look at is a list. A list is a mutable ordered collection that can hold multiple values of different types. Lists suppose various operations like appending, slicing, and sorting. So let's look at how we can define a list and do operations with them. Just like in normal listing of items, when you are making a list of the list you have and so forth. So let us define a list as follows. We have a list of fruits. We define the list to, so when you define list, you use a square bracket to define the list, and each item in the list should be in double quote or in single quote. So we define our list as fruit, and we have apple, orange, mango, banana. So if we say print list, it now give us the items that we have defined. Let's run that. So this is our list. So we can append. To append means to add. We can add more fruit. Suppose you have in your store, these are the list of fruits that you have. Now, as more purchases are made, you acquire more fruit. So you now add it to the list so that when you want to go through the items you have in your store, you can easily browse through that these are the fruit I have. When you want to, suppose say somebody make a request that you should show them the items you have. So when you acquire more items, you now append. So let's look at how we can append an item to the list. So we now add a fruit called date. So we say fruit as we have defined here, fruit. So you say fruit dot append. Then you give the name of the fruit that you want to add. So we call the fruit date. If you want, you can add something like guava or whatever type of fruit that you want to append. So if we now run this, it will now give us gives the list of fruit that we are including date. So date was not initially included here, but now it has been included. We can do that again. We can append another fruit. We can, let's say, we now have more additional fruit. So from date now, we change it to guava. So if we run, you see that guava will be added to the list of fruits that we have. So that's how you can append to the list. You can now slice the list. If you want to call a particular fruit now, you can say print fruit and then specify the, let's say you put 2, the one on position 2. It will now return a mango for us. The position 0 is apple, position 1 is orange, position 2 is mango. So if we run this, I did not close the bracket. That is where the error is coming from. Close this bracket, then run. So it has given us mango, which is on position. We can say it should print from position 0 to 2. And if we run, it now give us apple and mango and orange. When you put like this, it does not include the position 0 itself. We start from position 1 and 2. We can say let this should be from 1 to 4. Like return mango and banana. So that is how you can slice items from your list. Now I'm going to end this video here. In the next video or in the next tutorial, we are going to look at dictionaries. We are going to look at control flow, and then we look at Python libraries. So we'll see you when we meet to answer questions that may arise from this video. Thank you.